Hi everybody, this is Brad Dyke reaching out to you to say hi. Today's video is about how can I be really good at what I do in management of IT, and is there any tool out there that can make me a better person? In other words, when you learn how to build a server, that's one thing. But when you start to manage your servers, your resources, and so on and so on and so on, are there any tools out there that can give you kind of a leap forward to help you change the way you manage things so that you're managing things on an enterprise or even a cloud enterprise level equivalency? And that's a hard question to answer. In the past, we've thrown 10, 15, 20 different classes at you, and you would struggle through them, and you would excel, and eventually you would reach the equivalency of a programming level director, or you want to be the lead of a storage team, or you want to be the lead of an application team, or a DevOps, and so on and so on. But actually, I found a really great tool that I thought was really cool and playful. So before we go into that, let me explain. For many years, both as an employer and as well as a lead architect or a lead director or ops or whatever, my friends and I, my leadership that is, we would sponsor what we call game frags. And game frags are basically frag fests or fragmentation festivals of computer guys coming together, doing their thing, and enjoying playing communal level games like Doom, Heretic, yes, I'm showing my age, in the later days, Just Cause or Call of Duty, or all the versions of Call of Duty, and so on and so on. We didn't watch the people playing the games. We watched their enthusiasm to build stat servers and to act as tech support, to come in and troubleshoot the networks and stuff like that. And then by observing these young men and women, to our great surprise, we have some winners. And then we come around later and we offer them a job. We train them, we give them the skill sets, and we still promote the gaming environment, because gaming is part of the reason why many IT people are in the industry, because they really want to play that next greater level. And that's something to be said. So learning and watching people play their games, they'll build entire database systems and stats monitoring systems and all of this and all of that to say who's the top 10, blah, 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 blah. And they'll push for a 10 gig backbone opposed to a 1 gig versus a 100 TX network, all to make the experience more optimal and people can download their software faster, and so on and so on. They turn themselves into architects. They see a problem, it's an opportunity to be successful. So they take advantage of that moment and they tweak it out, and the end result is you have an infrastructure that has been deployed, and these guys figured it out through gaming. So yeah, believe it or not, there is a tool out there that can help you really begin the process of understanding the intricacies of connectivity, interactive protocol routings, and so on, to give you a capacity that you've not had in the past. It's called skill set management over and above IT operational skill sets. So those would be managers, directors, project PMs, program PMs, architects, and so on and so on. They can go all the way to the top tier of our industry and the highest paying salaries. So good to pay attention, I think. So with this, I'm going to show you the application I'm referring you to. Okay, with this, and I apologize for the poor angling, but with this, I'm going to recommend to all of you crazy awesome people X4 Foundations. Now, X4 Foundations is a game designed specifically to give you the capacity of being, how would you say, yourself. You're going to start out with a very simple ship in space, but what can you do with it? And that's the driving force behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and start this and launch it. It's going to take a few minutes, so I'll pause it while I get that going, and we'll take a look at it together. Okay, so as the program begins to come up, you will start to see the introduction screen of the actual game. And just to make it more entertaining for me, I added a mod because I also enjoy playing games that would promote or actually configure the ships in a Star Wars mod or a modification. So I can strive to, get that great, big, awesome, cool ship and so on and so on. And as you can see here by example, those ships are right here. So I'll let it pan here for a second. So up here on the side, you see the smaller anti-gravity style ship, which is the small, kind of looks like a Star Destroyer, but it's a fairly small interdictor class. And of course, right beside it is that giant, huge ISDN or the Imperial Star Destroyer. And this is I believe, the Star Destroyer 2. It has 2 nods on the top, and then over to the next Star Destroyer is Star Destroyer 1, which is a slightly different size and capacity. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and initiate a game here, a saved game. And as you can see up there in the corner, and I'll just adjust this a little bit, it says such and such play session, my call name, and I have $441 million in credits which I can work with in regards to working and doing things, but I actually have just started doing this. So I'm going to start this game, but it takes about 3 minutes to load. It's a whole universe you're loading. So when that will finish up here, I'll go ahead and pause the video until we get to that point. Okay, we're at 45%, and it's been about a minute and a half. We just need another couple of minutes. Okay, we're at 65%, and we're still holding for about another minute or two. Okay. At this point stage, we're at 85%. And while the rest of this is loading, I'll go ahead and cover the basics. So, when you come up into the operating environment of this universe, you are given a ship and a goal, whatever the goal you want to be. So with that being the case, you have basically very minimal capacity. Okay, and that minimal capacity will be the equivalency of a ship with some basic functionalities, flight, and so on. And it can, if you choose to go out and fight to earn your name in an Imperial or a New Republic or Rebel, you can. Or if you choose to be a thespian and you want to be a representative, you can do that. Or if you want to mine resources and sell them for commodities, you can. And if you want to, let's say, choose to do certain things like trading and commerce, you can. So by doing this, let me show you what you start out with. In this environment, you start out with some basic resources, and with that, we would take a look at what that minimal size ship would look like. For instance, you could be doing a simple mining ship known as a quad, or you can choose the Imperial pathway, where you can be a Z95. Kind of looks like an X-wing, but you notice it only has a single set of wings. It's not an X-wing. It's not a series unit or something like that. You can also be a TIE fighter, or you can pursue other genres. Over time, when, let's say, for instance, Star Chaser is a great example of a basic combat style ship that you can go in and take small, medium missions and do escort services and things like that. And over here, you have what we call the build out options. And you can build out your ship. Now, this is the equivalency of you building a server, or building a switch, or building an appliance, or configuring an application. This one task has its configuration and it has its requirements to be as optimal or as price efficient as possible. Over time, you can transition up to mid-sized ships, such as, for instance, you want to do transports, like you want to be into, moving, resources. And here you can see a ship But also with that ship, you will see the complexity of that ship as well, and its own unique capacities. What is it going to do? How is it going to do it? What type of defenses? What's plausible? What isn't plausible? And okay, this might be the equivalency of a distribution network of resources, but it's a resource because it transports your goals. And of course, you have different types of ships out there that which you can work with. For instance, like here is a miner ship. Okay. And this is the opposite. This is not a trade commerce ship. This guy just goes out there and finds it and brings it home. And it's a great way to earn income because you're finding it and you're selling it. You're not trying to buy it cheap and then sell it higher. But it's a process of, working with different classes of ships and different classes of levels. So when it comes to the reality of the fact, you start off in the world of a simple one ship world, and you start to grow yourself into a fleet of ships like you see over here in green. And these are my ships. And as you notice, a lot of them are miners and a lot of them are traders. And they make my income, which is at 442 million at this time. And you learn to take these ships and optimize them for your needs. But that's not everything. Over time, as you start to build up your ships, or in this case, servers and switches and appliances and so on, you also have a need for an operations or a base of operations. So that's really neat because now you're starting to connect your ships, you're getting organized, you're learning to protect your assets by using and setting up layers of defense, or i.e. firewall defense, if a good example. And of course, eventually your base of operations would be your own data center. So in that case, here we have a great example of my first base, and it is my base, and I pick it, and I may choose to improve its design. I can do things with it if I want, but right now I'm just producing solar shells, power cells, and I'm just learning right now myself how to optimize the sale of something I create. Again, it's kind of going back to that mining sense. If you create a result or a capacity, this base of operations is basically what you have and how it would work for your needs. I can go into this base as well, and I can modify it, work with it, do what I want with it, but it's mine and I can grow it, and that would be your data center. And eventually I'll do commerce between two of my bases, and that would be the equivalency of learning how to load balance your workloads. And all in all, this is a really great tool when I'm dealing with this universe. As you can see, each one of these quadrants or sectors is a place. And this is really not much different than the world, the World Wide Web, my data centers, my cloud resources, and all of the little busy bees that run between them all to generate a profit. So with that being said, and not going into too much detail, I would make the idea and say that this is a great learning tool to teach you how to bring things in as you grow things out, to understand and to have that different mindset of that greater picture, but also not losing focus on the small details. That's important. So with that, I thought this was a cool little 1, 2, 3 that you guys would enjoy seeing, and it's a great game to play. You can learn a lot with this game. It does a lot for you, and you gain a lot from it. But it takes a little time. I've got about 10 hours in this particular mod, but I have time when I can jump over. And by the way, this is a progressive game, so literally you can just let it run by itself at night to test your simulations or your profit models. And that's important because it also renders what we call a test sample in the industry. And you don't have to interact with it at all because it's a macro environment and you're the manager. The ships will take care of themselves and manage them once you learn how to make them work. That's the key detail. At this point stage, though, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope this helps you a little bit, at least to have some fun. That's what it's about. And God bless and take care. Bye bye.